Hello and welcome. I'm Corey Buckta with the City of Wichita Office of Community Services. Here with me today is Park and Recreation Director Troy Houtman for our ongoing series discussing the professional management of the Wichita Municipal Golf Courses. You can get caught up on that conversation over at forum.wichita.gov. Since our last video, the city manager wrote a response to a lot of the questions and concerns we've been seeing on Forum. We sent that response out to our golfers and to everyone who's participated on Forum. I just wanted to thank the manager for putting that together, and I want to thank everyone who took the time to read that and respond. Troy, the Park Board will be meeting on Monday. What updates on the golf management contract will they get to hear about?
Well, good morning, Corey. And we survived the big snowstorm last week. So our golf courses are back open and being used quite well, by the way. So a couple updates, and also my thank you as well to the folks that are viewing this show and participating in a lot of questions. I think we've been able to share a lot of information, and we'll continue to do that as we move forward. So we were fortunate enough, I think, this week to come up with a pretty good final draft of an agreement with Kemper. And so on Tuesday, I did send that to the Golf Advisory Committee and to the Park Board. There's an addendum that I'm going to be sending out today that has to deal with the food and beverage. But basically, I think it was a lot of highlights that we have shared before. The annual fee is going to be $200,000 for them to manage the courses for us. And they're not going to own the courses, and they're not going to be changing the fees. That's all our responsibility. It's still our golf courses, and we will still be working with our stakeholders to make sure that their needs are met. So on Monday, we'll be presenting that to the Park Board, and I'm sure we'll have some discussion and some debate, and I think some members from the Golf Advisory Committee will be there as well. Folks from the Selection Committee will be there as well. And if they vote to pass it forward, it will go to Council on March 1st.
Okay, so Park Board this coming Monday,
Correct.
Council March 1st.
That's correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
A lot of golfers have been wanting to know about tracking performance of Kemper. Is there anything in the contract regarding performance measures?
We will be looking at several different items in regards to the condition of the courses, the amount of sales, and there's some expectations about what we want to see in regards to how they're performing financially. And we'll also be paying attention to customer requests or suggestions or complaints. Those are going to be the major areas that we're going to be looking at in regards to looking at performance. We'll be conducting audits on a regular basis, and we will also be doing inspections of the courses as well. So we'll have staff going out there and looking at the courses, making sure that the conditions are what we are expecting them, because we put very specific standards in the contract of what we expect the course conditions to be. And Kemper seems to be agreeable to that, and they want to make sure that they have meet that high standard. It's only going to benefit them because they obviously want to continue being the management company. So if they do not perform, there's several different items that can happen. There's definitely written notice, there could be some penalties, but ultimately they could be a situation where they lose the contract. And it's written into the agreement that if they're not meeting our standards, we can give them a certain notice and they can lose the contract.
That actually ties in really well with the next question. Mark Masterson asked on Forum if the city will be able to enforce contract violations and penalties. Would the process be quick? And what would the process be if the contract needed to be terminated?
So one thing that's really what we want to do is a little bit different than what we've done with other contracts. We want to make this very transparent. So when we do find either even complaints, or I'm going to go as far as allegations of not meeting the standards, we want to make sure that we investigate those and put those out in a public, transparent way. So whether it's going to be through a forum, going through an advisory board, we want to share that and see how these things are being resolved and answer those questions. So that's one way we want to do that. Gives Kemper an opportunity also to see what those concerns are, and also gives them an opportunity to respond to those as well. So we want to do that as quickly as possible, but these things take probably 2 or 3 weeks to happen. Within a month is something that we really want to use that kind of a time frame to administer those questions.
All right. Mark Masterson had another suggestion for us. That's kind of a long one, but I wanted to make sure we talk about this. So he says, I would like to see an option changing the enterprise framework to include annual supplemental funding with tax dollars that provides sustained public management of the golf courses with excellent care and improvements. The golf courses improve quality of life in Wichita. Doing the right thing and doing them right with current management should be an option to consider versus using private contractors. So I suppose the question would be, at this point in the game, what options can be considered?
So first of all, just wanted to share that even though we have a contract management company, it's still our responsibility to manage the golf courses and the conditions and putting money back into the golf course. So it is an enterprise fund, and the great thing about that enterprise fund is that the money goes directly back into the golf courses. If it goes into another system where it would be the general fund, we might lose that money, and that money might go to pay for fire, police, or some other kind of services. So that's the great thing about the enterprise fund. And that's going to happen whether it's managed by the city or managed by a third-party operator. Some of the other things to think about as well is that throughout the years we've actually have put money from the general fund into the golf course. Good examples, we spent I think close to $1.1 million on new golf carts 3 years ago. That's a long time ago, but these golf carts probably should last about 10 years. And now we're putting a system so we can put in a replacement of those golf courses, or those golf carts. This year, we're spending $250,000 from general fund dollars to remove trees at the golf courses. So there is a system that we're using to replenish those funds, or actually add to those funds in the golf courses. Another example is when years of, I think it was 2017, 18, and 19, when the enterprise fund was in the red, the general fund paid the difference to make sure that the golf courses continue to operate. So it might not be a situation where it's a formal type of funding program, but there's definitely a lot of different areas that help the enterprise fund, the golf enterprise fund, through general fund dollars. It's really important that we do that. I think we want to make sure our golf courses continue to operate at a very high level.
All right, good. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Let's go to the live comments on YouTube. Charles Prickett asked, so when does Kemper take over? Assuming this gets passed in the March 1st council meeting, what would the timeline look like then?
So I think we were talking to Kemper, it would probably take a month to make the transition. We'd be going from March 1st, and I think we'd be looking at April 1st would be the transition.
Okay, interesting. Going back to Forum, David Koch asked, how much does Kemper contribute to the Newton economy, and how much would they contribute to the Wichita economy?
So I cannot measure what the impact is on Newton. I can tell you what the golf enterprise fund, the golf system that we have, impacts Wichita, and it really wouldn't matter whether it's Kemper or whether it's operated by the city of Wichita, because it's the same enterprise system, it's the same golf courses. So we do get quite a few out-of-town folks coming in to play. We do get folks that they're here to visit family members, and they'll take their family members to hit the golf courses. And so we track that with zip codes, we track that with some other kind of data to find out where people are coming from. We find out that people are coming from surrounding areas of Wichita as well. And so it's not just Wichita golfers, but we find people coming from nearby areas to come play golf. So it definitely has an impact on selling gas, food and beverage, going to the restaurants, heads and beds, folks spending the night. So we do know that. And also if we have tournaments, that's another impact as well. So again, it really doesn't matter whether it's Kemper or whether it's the city of Wichita, it's the same impact because it's the same system of golf courses.
Yeah, and the golf course improves quality of place, quality of life, all of those things.
Yeah, something I wanted to talk about was actually the quality of place. So that's another economic impact is making sure that businesses stay here in Wichita, families stay here in Wichita, young professionals stay here in Wichita. It's a great amenity, and it's a very important amenity that we need to have here in Wichita. We don't want to be in a situation where we lose our golf courses. And so that takes continuous investment, and the proceeds that come from the enterprise fund the past 2 years are dollars, major dollars that we put back into the golf courses. So right now I think we're spending several $100,000 on the pumps and irrigation system to making sure that those operate for this coming spring and summer. Because without water, we don't have grass. Without grass, we don't have golf. And so we're working with systems that are very antiquated, and we're really making a huge effort right now. The staff is. They're doing great work at upgrading those systems.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the transparency of this process. We've been doing these live Q&A videos. I think this is our 5th or 6th one. We've had the conversation on forum. We've had public meetings to address this. Anything else you think we could be doing more?
Well, it's been a topic on the Golf Advisory Committee for over a year. It's been a topic that has gone through the park board several times over the past year. It's been a topic in regards to when the courses were actually losing money. It was very transparent in regards to that. So when we give monthly reports on the rounds reports, the financial status of the enterprise fund, all that is public information, and we share that on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I think that we have talked about a lot of important information in these videos. We've got that letter from the manager that I think was pretty informative and very helpful. So let's talk again real quick, remind everyone, what is the timeline going forward?
So again, we have shared the contract with the Golf Advisory Committee as well as the park board prior to their meeting. So I think that's another effort in trying to be transparent and giving them ample time to come up with any questions or review the documents. We have the meeting that's coming up on Monday, and it's going to be here at City Hall on the first floor in the council chambers. That meeting is at 3 o'clock, and that's for the park board. We'll be doing the presentation to the park board, answering their questions, entertaining some lively discussion and learning, I'm sure. So we will have that opportunity. And I think they're going to be voting on whether it moves forward or not, whether they support it or not, whether they make the recommendation for it or not. That's their authority to push it forward to council. So if it does go forward, it'll be going to council on March 1st, and that council meeting is on Tuesday, and those council meetings start at 9 a.m. And again, it's going to be here at City Hall on the first floor in the council chambers. So that's kind of the timeline that we're looking at.
And anyone can view those meetings online or attend those meetings in person as well. All right, Troy, again, thank you for taking the time to answer some questions with us today. I want to remind everyone one last time that you can join the discussion on forum over at forum.wichita.gov. It's not too late to have your voice heard. And thanks again.